guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bailey, and today we are doing all the books that I've given 5 stars. And I didn't include the books that I gave 5 stars when I first started reading because those really are not my 5-star reads anymore, just because my taste of 5-star reads has definitely changed the more I've read. So I have quite a few books here. One of them is my current read that I know I'm gonna give 5 stars, so I'm including that in this video. But yeah, let's just get into the video. The first book that I will be giving 5 stars, this is my current read right now. This is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the first book in the Boys of Tommen series. This series is not nearly talked about enough. I have not seen enough about it on TikTok or anything. It is incredible. This book, it's a big book, I'm not gonna lie, and the writing is very tiny, but it is so worth it. Oh my goodness. This book is about Johnny and Shannon. Shannon comes from a very troubled past. She has an abusive father and kind of an abusive mother. Her mother doesn't really do anything, she just kind of goes along with it, but her father is abusive. She has grown up in a household where she basically, no one has paid attention to her. Her father really just hates her and despises her, and her only friend in her house is her brother Joey. And she is actually also bullied at the school she's going to, like terribly bullied, like physically, emotionally, all of that, bullied at the school she started at. Her parents let her transfer to Tommen College, where she meets Johnny Kavanaugh, who is everything I could ever ask for in a book boyfriend. He's amazing, I love him. So she ends up transferring to Tommen College. The first day she gets there, Johnny, he is a big time rugby player. He is so like famous in terms of like high school sports. And Johnny accidentally kicks a rugby ball into Shannon and hits her in the head. So that is how they meet, and this is their love story. This is going to be, I think, a 9 or 10 book series. There's only 3 books out, but I adore it. This is the closest book I've gotten that's given me the feeling that I had when I read the Addicted series. So if that says anything, this is definitely going to be a 5-star read for me, even though I haven't finished it yet. Also, I think they're cutting the grass outside, so if you hear any sort of noise, I think that's what that is. The next book I have that I've given 5 stars is 11 Other Words by Christina Lauren. You guys have heard me talk about this so many times. I adore this book. It's second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers. It's amazing. It's incredible. Elliot, everything. This obviously is about Macy and Elliot. They were childhood friends to lovers in the past, and they ended up dating. Something happens between them. They end up not talking for 10 years. 10 years. Obviously, then Macy ends up running into Elliot 10 years later, and basically it's their rekindled romance, except Macy is actually engaged. So, if you have not read this book, you need to read it. It is just, that's all I have to say about it. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. It's amazing. It's incredible. The next book is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think you guys have also heard me talk about this one. I love this book. Of course, obviously I love it. It's my 5-star read. This is my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I haven't read all of them, but so far this is my favorite. This book is about Emma. Emma ends up marrying her high school sweetheart, Jesse, and they're happy. Everything's going amazing. And then Jesse is actually, I believe he's a journalist or a writer for like nature documentaries, and he ends up going on a like mission for this writing column, I think, to these islands. But his helicopter ends up disappearing. And so Emma gets a call. She thinks Jesse's dead. Like, obviously she's heartbroken. So then she ends up moving back to her hometown because she's like, I need to be close to my family. Like, after everything that happened with Jesse, she ends up bumping into her childhood friend, Sam. They end up falling in love. She gets engaged to Sam, but guess who calls her and tells her that he's actually alive? Jesse. So this is kind of a love triangle. None of those were spoilers, by the way. This is what it all says in the back of the book. It's definitely a love triangle, but it's so good. I cry every time I read this book. This is another book that I reread over and over and over again. Next book is Things You Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I absolutely adore this book. Again, I think I talked about this in my book recommendation tag video. If you guys actually know, I did not like Things We Hide from the Light. Was not a fan. I think I gave it 2.5, 3 stars. But this one is 5 stars by far. I loved this book. It is a single parent trope, which I obviously love. This is about Naomi and Knox. Naomi has a twin sister named Tina, and Tina calls her one day and is like, hey, I'm in this small town, I need help. Could you come to Knockemout, which is the name of the town? And of course, Naomi, because Naomi's just like the sweetest person ever, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. But what ends up happening is Tina lied, of course, and ends up stealing Naomi's car. And Tina leaves her daughter Waylay with Naomi and is like, Naomi, here you go, take care of her. So, and Tina's like hated in this town. Hated. So obviously the first time she meets Knox, he hates her because he thinks that she's Tina, but really she's Naomi. Knox has this soft spot for Naomi, of course, so he ends up taking in Waylay, and it's just so cute. And there's a little bit of mystery in this book too, which I really like, so definitely recommend, of course. That's why it's 5 stars. My next book that I have is Kiss the Sky by Kristen Becca-Ritchie. I can't really talk about exactly what this is about, but this is the 4th book of the Addicted Calloway Sisters series, which you guys know is my favorite series of all time. This is Rose and Connor's book, who is my favorite couple. I love Rose and Connor. Rose is just like everything. I love her, and I love Connor. Addicted series is about Lily and Lo, and they're basically fake dating. They both have addictions. So Lo is an alcoholic, and then Lily is a sex addict. So they both have these addictions, and they're using their fake dating and their relationship to kind of cover up that they have these addictions. And Rose is Lily's sister. So for the Addicted Calloway Sisters series, you have the Addicted books, which are all about Lily and Lo, and then you have the Calloway Sisters series, which is about Rose and Connor, and then Mike and Daisy. So this is Rose and Connor's book. It is everything. They're kind of like academic rivals, I would say, but I adore this. I wish I could like say what this is about, but I can't without spoiling the whole series, but that's the gist of the series. This series is amazing. If you have not read it, it's everything. And I know a lot of people stopped after the first book because they're like, oh my God, the first book is awful. Please keep going because it gets so good. And especially with the fact that there's 10 books, the characters are so developed. They're like, it's everything. Just like, please, if you didn't like the first and second book, please just keep going because by the 3rd book, everything gets better. And the found family in here, incredible series, incredible book. The next 3 books are all part of a series. I gave every single book in the series 5 stars. This is the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, who you guys know is my favorite author. I literally talk about her all the time. She's just incredible. Every single book she writes has been incredible. So this is the Dreamland Billionaire series, like I said. So we have the fine print, terms and conditions, and final offer. Final offer is the most recent release. I love every single one of these books so dearly. This is one of the only series that I've read where I've given every single book 5 stars because I love them all. This entire series is about a group of brothers. So you have Rowan, Declan, and Callahan, and they're the Kane brothers, and they're super rich. And their grandfather, think of him as like a Walt Disney. He passes away, and he leaves a will, of course, to Rowan, Declan, and Callahan. In this will, their grandfather basically says that each of one of them has to complete certain tasks before they receive their inheritance. So Rowan's book, he has to take over Dreamland, which is essentially like Disneyland. Declan's book, he has to get married and have a kid. And then Callahan's book, he has to go back to their summer, like, I don't want to call it cottage, like a summer beach house, and rekindle his romance with his second chance lover. So this is everything. So the fine print is about Rowan and Zara. Like I said, oh my God, I love Rowan. But Zara works at Dreamland. She ends up one day getting drunk. She submits this proposal, and Declan, or not Declan, that's the second brother, Rowan looks at it and is like, And he ends up hiring her onto this project. So that is their love story. Adore this book. And then the second one is Declan and Iris. Declan is super grumpy. He really only cares about his work, and that's it. And Iris is his assistant, but like I said, in order to get his inheritance, he has to get married and have a child. So, of course, Iris steps up to the plate. So, this is Marriage of Convenience, fake dating. I love this book. Declan is my favorite brother. I know that's controversial, and I know a lot of people are like, why Declan? Declan's the worst brother. He's my favorite, and I will defend him with my life. And then we have the final offer, which is the most recent release, which is why it looks different. But this is about Callahan and Alana. Alana and Callahan, they have been childhood friends to lovers. They kind of had a thing, and then Callahan is actually also an alcoholic, so he's dealing with addiction during this book. This book is actually really sad because of his dealing with addiction and mental health. I would say check trigger warnings for this one. I'm not sure about the other ones, but I mean, always check trigger warnings. With any book that you're going into, please check like trigger and content warnings, but definitely for this one, because this one does talk a lot about mental health, which is what I love about Lauren Asher even more. She normalizes men going to get help and men going to therapy, which I feel like is not very normalized in our society, so I love that she does that. But yes, this is about Callahan and Alana has a daughter named Cammie, and it's their love story. And I adore every single one of those books. I would highly recommend all 3 of them if you have not read them. Up next, I'm going to be talking about 2 more Lauren Asher books. These are the 3rd and 4th book from the Dirty Air series. I love the entire Dirty Air series, but I did not give them all 5 stars. But Wrecked and Redeemed, the 3rd and 4th book, were my 5-star reads. I loved these books. So this is F1 racing, if you know what F1 is. And I love these. I adore them. This one's about Elena and Jax, and Jax basically has a really like bad boy type image, and he is basically like a PR nightmare. So Elena is basically hired to be his like PR like babysitter almost, to make sure that he doesn't do anything wrong. And from the bat, Jax is very intrigued by Elena. So love this, adore this book. This book also talks quite a bit about mental health, which I really, really liked, because Jax does deal with some mental health. So adore this one. Redeemed is the 4th book in the Dirty Air series. This is my favorite of the series, even though I did give Wrecked 5 stars. This is by far my favorite. This is about Chloe and Santiago. Santiago is, so the girl in the first book, Throttled, Maya, he is her brother. Santiago is a Formula 1 driver. He's very good, but then he tragically has something happen. I can't say because it'll spoil it. Obviously, this is the 4th book. This is a interconnected standalone series, but I definitely recommend reading them in order. I feel like that one, like reading them in order makes this one even more impactful. And Chloe and him end up fake dating. I can't say how or why, like I said, because I don't want to spoil anything, but this book is my favorite book in the entire world. So please read the Dirty Air series. Please just go buy everything Lauren Asher has written and read it, because they're all amazing. Next up, I have 2 more sports romances. This is Mile High and The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I've given both of these 5 stars. I love them so much. You guys have probably heard me talk about them. I think I've talked about them before. Mile High. This is so good. This is a hockey romance, which you guys know I love. This isn't tabbed because I bought the paperback after I read it. I read it first on my Kindle, and I bought the paperback. That's how good it is. This book is about Xanders and Stevie. Xanders is a big-time hockey player, like one of the most famous hockey players in the NHL. And he has this bad boy image. He sleeps around a lot. Like, that's the image he's trying to kind of uphold, because that's kind of what he got his contract signed over, because his best friend Madison is supposed to be like the golden boy, good boy, and then Xander is supposed to be like the bad boy, playboy. But he hates that image because that's actually not who he really is. He kind of feeds into it, but that's not him at all. So Stevie is actually the flight attendant on their like team's private jet. And right away, Stevie and Xanders have this chemistry, and they both kind of, I like how they both acknowledge that they're into each other and they're attracted to each other. Adore this book. It's so good. And it's their love story, obviously, but it's kind of forbidden because Stevie's not supposed to date anyone on the team, and it's opposites attract, because Stevie's very much like, I wouldn't say she's quiet, because she's not, but she doesn't live like the lavish lifestyle. Like, she thrifts her clothes, you know, like all of that. And Xanders is very much like, I buy the most expensive things all the time. So adore this. And then we have The Right Move, which this will be in my March wrap up. This book is everything to me. The book is about Ryan and Indy. Ryan is Stevie's brother from the first book, but this one is actually basketball romance, because Ryan is pretty much the most famous NBA player in the NBA. Like, think like LeBron James. That's what Ryan is. And Indy is Stevie's best friend. So this is best friend's brother, which is one of my favorite tropes. And there's also fake dating in here because Ryan, so there's also forced proximity actually. So Indy, in the first book, you see that her boyfriend ends up cheating on her and she has nowhere to go. So Stevie calls up Ryan and is like, hey, you have this huge apartment. You're barely ever there because you're always traveling for basketball. Can you please let Indy stay with you? And like reluctantly, he finally agrees to let Indy stay with him. But he is like, obviously right away, they're kind of attracted to each other and they don't do anything about it, obviously, because she's like, you're my best friend's brother. We have to live together. And Ryan is so serious about basketball. Basketball is pretty much all he cares about. Basketball and Stevie are pretty much the only two things he cares about. So he takes basketball super seriously. And he becomes captain of the, is it the Devils? The Devils is what their team is called. It's Chicago's NBA team, but obviously she can't use the real team. So Ryan's coach is like, you need to be more human. You act like a robot. All you care about is basketball. And Ryan's like, no, like I have a girlfriend. And turns out he's like, yeah, she's right over there. So him and Indy begin this whole fake dating thing. Obviously they fall for each other. Ryan Shea is literally the best book boyfriend to ever exist. Like he is, oh my God, I adore this book. And I cannot wait for the third book in the series because I adored these two. So I need the third book in the series. Liz Tomford, please give me the third book right now because I think it's supposed to come out in October and I cannot wait. Like, I can't wait. It's either August or October. There's so many books coming out this year, but oh my God, that series is incredible. Last but not least, we have the second book in the Shatter Me series. This is Unravel Me by Tari Mafi. I think I butchered that. I never can pronounce it right. I love the Shatter Me series. I finished it this month. That'll also be in my March wrap up, but I adore it. It's so good. And this is the second book in the series. This is the only book I gave 5 stars out of the series, but I adore the entire series. But for me, Unravel Me was it. I loved this book, the action here, the romance, everything. And for me to give a young adult book 5 stars, that says a lot because normally young adult is not 5-star reads for me. But the Shatter Me series is about Juliet, and Juliet lives in times after the world basically has ended, and it's like a dystopian society type of thing. And they have this called, the government is called the Reestablishment, and Juliet is kind of like an outcast because she has these powers that are lethal. Like if she touches someone, she can hurt them really bad or they will die. So she has been locked in a mental institution because that's where her parents put her, because they did not know what to do with her. So she ends up getting free, and this is her story. But there's also side characters, and we all know Aaron Warner is my everything. But Ryan Shea might have beat him for book boyfriend, but Aaron Warner is a close second because this man is obsessed with her and I adore it. And I love the Shatter Me series. If you have not read it, please go read it. It's my favorite fantasy series to date, just because it's so easy to read, so much action, so much romance. It's everything. That was all of my books that I've given 5 stars as of now. Obviously, this can change because hopefully I find more 5-star reads as I read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. You know what to do. I appreciate all of it, like so much. Thank you also for 75 subscribers. I appreciate any of you that literally want to click on my videos and watch them. So I love you guys, literally. Like just the fact that 75 of you want to watch my videos and you like comment and just, I love you guys. So I thank you so much. I appreciate it literally more than you even know. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye guys.